act like Jack Kennedy was his first time with Marilyn Monroe and just basically came all over his dress.
Yeah.
And sorry about that, man.
Sorry, I blew my top.
A little too much of my Father Joe's whiskey, I guess.
Is that the JFK that lived on the southern plantation with the whip?
With the whip. Did you happen to watch Chris Rock's dramatic live Netflix?
No, he didn't send
comedy?
He didn't send me an invitation, so I didn't watch it.
Become
On
very,
purpose. On purpose, I didn't watch it.
Very difficult to entertain.
Have you read the show notes, Peas?
I'm looking at some of them.
Yeah, I can tell you're getting excited. You're getting excited.
We just played the theme song.
Yeah.
And so now that it's time to read the show notes, I took out my special scissors and cut the ribbon that holds the envelope that contains the show notes. And as I look at it, it's 200 lines!
Hooray! That's my favorite number.
Yeah, it sounds like about an hour.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is time for the show. Let's go through the notes and see what today's show is going to be so that we can do the show.
3.5 lines per minute. Go.
All right. Line 1 of the show notes says Glorf Smerlaken. Line 2. Time for the show 214. PoFolk Northern Railway. Line 3. TFTS Relay 030623. Line 4. Fid, do not read this part on air. Line 5. A compressive neuropathy of the radial nerve that occurs from the prolonged direct pressure of the upper medial arm or axillary by an object or surface. The radial nerve is composed of the C5 to T1 nerve roots, which arise from the posterior segment of the branchial nerve plexus. Line 12 of the show notes says, Fid, read this part on air. And line 13, it's Peas' 7th favorite part of the show, the introduction. Broadcasting live on freethinkradio.com. Welcome to Time for the Show, a podcast unlike any other. Join the irreverent and unpredictable hosts, Reverend Peas, Fid Julie, and Dr. Fox as they delve into a myriad of topics with a satirical and absurd twist. No topic is off limits and no joke is too taboo for this comedic trio. With skits, prank calls, and parody commercials, you never know what to expect on Time for the Show. So sit back, relax, until your sides hurt as you journey into the strange and hilarious world of Time for the Show. Once again, this week's show notes were generated by the fledgling Show Rogan artificial stupidity system in conjunction with ChatGPT and Dr. Fox's soda-stained legal pad. If you want to help hurt the computer, join us in our Discord server, Hypercom, which can be accessed at timefortheshow.com. And then you're just going to click that Discord button there. And line 30 of the show notes is blank!
Good one. We're almost done.
And then, just like last week, it appears that right after the intro, Show Rogan wrote a poem that he's going to make us read. And it starts on line 32 of the show notes, which say, Oh, dear listener, do beware, for what you're about to hear is rare.
Ooh, that's a good
so
one.
Chaotic, so absurd, your mind will ache, your ears disturbed. And line 36 of the show notes is blank!
Now,
what if that was a line of the poem?
Is that really a poem? Or is that like a haiku? It seems short. Or is it just like a stanza?
It's like a haiku and a half.
No, we know a guy that knows things about writing in books.
I know one Chinese guy, and you assume I know everything about haikus.
No, I'm saying we know subject to change, and I wish that he would look at this and analyze it and give us an answer as to the validity of whether it actually meets the criteria for what we're calling a poem. Because I'm
for
saying
the next 53 minutes of the show to be Peas telling us how much he likes subject to change now.
No, I'm just telling you.
No, I'm just asking my wife. It's okay. I'm just asking. I was just looking over at my wife and asking her.
That would be a good show.
It's gonna be a good one.
Get me wrong.
It's a good one.
I'm getting.
He's a nice guy.
Here, so.
It counts.
Oh, you're
as a
already
poem.
in time warp.
Yeah.
Now listen. Vin Shirley is chiming in saying it counts as a poem, and I'm curious to hear his argument as to why it does. I feel it's short.
Well, it's in an AABB rhyme scheme, and the meter is trochaic quadrimeter, which seems to be the meter that the Show Rogan AI defaulted to last time. I don't know why it prefers that. I don't find it particularly.
No, I think he gave us something different last week. I guess we'd have to go back on like the RSS feed at timefortheshow.com and listen to last week's episode, Dilbert Does Dallas, and hear that poem again. Or
there is no last week.
You could do
There's
that.
only now and the future.
I think we actually got a different kind of poem last week. I think the structure was different and everything. Sardonic
we're not going to need to do
show.
That. We're not going to need to do that because the listeners will be able to hear last week's poem on tonight's Time Warp. Could happen at any moment.
We're just waiting for it.
Dear listener, do beware. What you are about to hear is rare. A show so chaotic and so absurd, your mind will ache your ears disturbed.
That was this week's. We already did that one. I mean, we already did the other one too, but why do that one again?
I felt like we didn't punch it enough when we did it the first time.
Well, your inflection was appreciated. You have a nice inflection.
Speaking of punching, line 37 of the show notes is the blind eye segment. So I think we're supposed to do that now. And mine does involve punching. Who's your blind eye, Peas?
Well, I'm trying to be more positive of a piece these days. So I feel like if someone could be a blind eye, they're also someone else's hero. So I'm going to pick like a hero of the week, but I don't have one for this week.
Versus the heroes of the strong?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're.
But if I had one, we would talk about it here. I mean,
your hero of the week is you for coming up with a bit called Hero of the Week that you did not have a bit for.
Prepared for it. No, but I talked about it. Well, I was thinking about a lot of different things with the blind eyes and things that have upset me and why I should blind eye this or that. But then I remembered that I'm a Stoic now, and I can't focus on the negative. I can't be the person that complains all the time. I have to find positivity in whatever my circumstances are, because that is indeed what existence is. So I guess if I'm going to blind eye or hero something, it's the realization of how fruitless my life's goals and ambitions have been in comparison to what the experience of life actually is. So in that sense, I captured that domain. Whatever, people need to make money. But in that sense,
now,
I got the thing in the mail. The whole fucking.
You made it like 90 days, and they gave you that wooden token.
Yeah,
I thought they had a cure for a Stoic these days. You just it's terminal illness. Like you don't die from it. You just live with it.
You just live with it. Yeah.
You just talk a lot about it like a vegan does. That'll probably be the next step on my descent into hell. The first step is stoicism, and then the next step is you're a vegan, and then the next step after that is you become some kind of fucking light worker.
Why don't you just blind eye
really
them?
Are the vegans of the philosophy world.
That's a good one, Dr.
Hey,
Tom.
how do you know if somebody's a Stoic? They'll tell you. Who's your blind eye, Fox?
The programmer for the latest version of Microsoft Solitaire, and like if you walk away for a minute, because I know when you're sitting down and throwing down on some classic solitaire action on your computer, you might get up and grab yourself a refreshing Monster Energy drink.
I noticed
and
you
a
used
Kellogg
the
strawberry, the strawberry yogurt chewy bar from Kellogg's. You go get your protein bar,
Those are delicious.
and you come back for some hardcore gaming. You're ready for hour 8 on Twitch, and one of the cards is blinking, saying, "Hey, stupid, we noticed you've been trying real hard to match colors. Why don't you come over here and let us help you out with that? Just because you stepped away from a moment, I'm not destined. I mean, my ass, I'm a middle-aged male with secretary spread. That's how much time I'm spending in front of a computer.
Middle-aged?
Am I not? That's what my parents keep calling me.
That's generous.
Yeah. So,
Listen,
that guy, if a bus
that,
full of hijacked airplanes were to crash into that guy, I would look the other way, at least for today to, I don't know, maybe the rest of the week.
But listen, you used the French pronunciation of the game solitaire. And I'm wondering, is that an indicator of how seriously you take the game of solitaire?
No, I just like to remind everybody that the French are the ones that came up with card games to play by yourself.
Yeah, well, because no one likes you.
Yeah.
No one likes you if you're friends. Oh, here it comes. I was excited.
No, not yet.
Do you have?
Sorry, I was doing a sound check.
Yeah, but
Somebody
do
asked
you
me
have
who my
The
blind
on-air
eye
sound.
was.
It's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's your blind eye, Fid?
Who's your blind eye, Fid?
Who's your blind eye,
Spearmint?
Peeves? Who's
I
your
told
blind eye?
you.
Nobody asked me who my
Bad.
blind eye is but me.
Bad people.
Okay, I guess I have to do one now.
You have
My
to.
blind eye is sports bras.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. I wish I had thought of that one.
Because several reasons. I don't look very good in them.
I don't think you
First of
need
all.
to give any reason. It's self-evident.
Well, it says in the show notes that I have to give my reasons.
Ah.
So,
Go ahead.
yeah. This would be a good time for everybody to just get up, get a drink, take a piss. Because
One of them strawberry.
it does not
protein
require explanation.
Start up a game
but
of
I am
solitaire.
bars. Yeah.
legally
Solitaire.
obligated to give my explanation. So, other than them not being very flattering on me, every time I masturbate into a sports bra, I feel like a pedophile because it looks like a little girl's bra. And I don't like that feeling. I have to close my eyes when I'm masturbating into a sports bra and think about a regular bra.
I think that's against the law in Tennessee.
And then I just have to throw it under my bed before I open my eyes. And then the other thing about sports bras that I would turn a blind eye if a bunch of Al Qaeda members flew a plane into all of the sports bras. Which actually
we even
could probably just bounce back.
Are we
But,
even mad at those guys anymore?
Well, that's the thing. That's where we're turning a blind eye.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Al
They can do
Qaeda
it.
guys they're getting a pass all the time now. We're all about Russia now.
Who's your favorite militant Islamic group, Peas?
Man, I like that cover band they had of the monkeys.
White Snake?
Yeah, called the Simians. But I don't know. I feel like I guess here's the thing with Al Qaeda, and I understand this probably more than most. Dude, it used to be that the IRA, we were feared all over Europe. If you talked terrorism or hijacking, there was an Irishman at the fucking root of that shit. And if you saw an Irishman, he tried to do a flex or something, you might be, you might be a terrorist. I better not fuck with that guy. Then the fucking Al Qaeda comes in, and man, we can't even get a glass of ice water at McDonald's drive-thru. Okay, there's nobody scared of the Irish terrorists at all anymore, and now Al Qaeda was way up there, like, but don't fuck with that guy, man. That Haji could be Al Qaeda's, and so you'd be scared. But now they're learning what it's like not to be scared of them anymore, because now everybody's scared of the Russians and the Chinese. So now Al Qaeda's, they're like sitting in the bar with the Irish people. They can't even drink, so they're having those little stupid fucking teas that they drink. And they're sitting around with a bunch of Irish terrorists, and they're like, how we let this slip through us? And the Italians in the other room laughing because they go, it used to be us.
Yeah, Pease brings up a good point.
Well, the Italians were laughing before everybody got there. Yeah. So,
Al Qaeda,
the IRA had pipe bombs with 8 different marshmallow colors inside.
Yeah, they're lucky charms.
Is to the VR troopers what the IRA is to the Power Rangers.
Oof! Damn!
First.
Damn! Who's the big bad Beetleborgs?
Well, my favorite Islamic terroristic organization is the Jews. I think they're all secretly Muslims. They're just pretending to fight each other.
Been fooling us all along. God damn it. Do not feel stupid now.
Speaking of a group of people that hit women, the other reason I'm blind-eyeing sports bras is because women with big tits wear them when they jog so that they don't look like they did 3 rounds with Mike Tyson when they get home from the jog. And I don't like that, because then it means I have to beat her up. I've got better things to do than punch the shit out of my woman. You know, it's just easier for me if I can send her for a jog without a bra on and just let nature take its course. So, fuck you, sports bras! You're the blind eye! Who's your blind eye, Pease?
I don't know, dude. You covered it with the Jews and the Muslims and women and old people and children. And who the fuck is left?
Well, you're not off the hook yet, Pease, because line 41 of the show notes.
I think I am. I can say whatever I want now. No one's going to remember after that diatribe.
Well, you're up to bat, according to line 41 of the show notes. It says, segment 2,
I already did one.
Pizzo box.
Oh, I did have to do that one.
Line 42, submit your viewer mail to email@timefortheshow.com. And then line 43 is an actual submission entitled Mail Number 1. And it says, Dear Peas, how do I get good at mind games? Are there any you would recommend to get even with an evil pigeon? And that came from Clive Ampersand from Montezuma Mesquite. What do you got for Clyde Ampersand, Peas?
Well, here's the thing, man. I get the mind game things, and especially against pigeons, because most people don't know this, but 65% of all pigeons that you see are actually government drones that keep an eye on things that you're doing to make sure you don't get out of line. You're not too woke. You're not missing out on all the news speak that's going on. But the thing about it is even if it's a government drone that you're trying to play the mind game against, pigeons have a limited ability to communicate with human beings to play the mind games, but I have found that the ancient game of Mastermind, where you would pick a series of colors and then hide them behind a little plastic resin screen, and then the other person would have a certain amount of tries to pick out what colors you had. That is a mind game I think a pigeon could play. And I think you can find Mastermind on eBay. And if you've got a pigeon that wants to play that mind game, I think then you've got a common ground that you guys can work that out. Thanks for your letter.
Line 47 of the show notes is blank. Line 48 of the show notes, another one for you, Peas. Mail 2, generated by Show Rogan. I can't wait till the end of the letter to see if Show Rogan actually signs it himself or comes up with a wacky name. Dear Time for the Show, I'm a big fan of your show, but I have a question that I need your help with. Last week, you were talking about something called Saturday Night Palsy, and I don't understand what that is. Is it a new dance move or a game? I tried to ask my mom and dad, but they didn't know either. Can you please explain it to me in simple words so that I can understand it better? Thank you for your help. Sincerely, Bunky McFunky of Looneyville. Great job, Show Rogan.
It's a real place.
All right, Peas, I know you recently had
Dr.
surgery
Fox.
for Saturday Night Palsy.
Dr. Fox this is a palsy question. I think it involves or requires even, nay, demands that a doctor of sciences answer this question. And of course, in our small group of acquaintances, the only doctor that we have is, of course, Dr. Argus Q. Fox of Hypercube Laboratories. Can you please answer this one caller's letter?
Saturday Night Palsy is when you go to the bar and you sit on the high stool and your balls shift underneath of your thighs and you sit on your balls at such a position that they go to sleep. And so when you hit the dance floor, you can swing belligerently and know that the entire time that should your genitals or groinal area make contact with anyone else on the legal dance floor, that you didn't feel it, therefore it didn't count. So, take up on Saturday Night Palsy every time that you go out square dancing or to the local discotheque. That's French for disco that you go to by yourself. And, there's a reason Naugahyde was very popular for a short period of time, kids.
My blind eye is...
Naugahyde pants are the David Carradine of leg wear.
They choked you out.
Line
Yes, that's
60
the joke.
of the show notes is blank. Line 61 of the show notes is indicating that we're going into another segment. Segment 3, Culture Schlock. Was Culture Schlock a segment that Show Rogan thought of?
Yes.
That's interesting. All right.
God, we can only hope so.
Hey, I take credit for anything that I can get. Blame the robot.
Well, this week's Culture Schlock is extemporaneous something. Line 62. It says, discuss the host's commentary on various aspects of current events. This week's topic is choo-choo trains. Topic details: Norfolk Southern third derailment from CNBC. Hours after a 28-car Norfolk Southern train derailed Saturday in Springfield, Ohio, the third incident for the freight railroad in just over a month, including the toxic disaster in East Palestine, Jewland. Internal emails show railroad officials making broad safety adjustments for rail cars.
Well, I think this is a simple thing here. They need to stop letting CNBC run these trains. I mean, this is the third derailment CNBC's had with these trains. It's just outrageous. And you know, here's the thing about train derailments. They're no fun for anybody. They're not fun for the train, the people in the community, or even bystanders, birds and fish and dogs and whatnot. They're all
Yeah, so
pretty
we
much
better
in
not make any
agreement.
jokes about it.
We can't. Oh, is it? Well, it's a somber time. It's a somber time to talk about rail travel.
Ohio is now America's Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Damn.
No one wants to have a Pittsburgh. Hey,
Damn. Ouch. Oof. That is the most correct thing I've heard
that was woke.
since my STD test
Peter,
came
are
back.
you guys woke? I feel like I'm woke now. I'm woker.
Well, I took a cold shower. I've been taking cold showers, and they make me very woke.
I'm not as
I gotta
woke
tell
as I
you-
am bespoke.
I heard about the cold
Like,
shower
how
thing.
woke
I didn't
are
know if it
you?
was some hippie bullshit. But then my water heater went up, and my landlord's been dragging legs to get it fixed. So I just said, fuck it. I'm jumping in there, right? And now I'm a cold shower guy.
Nice. So
It's like
here's what I don't
99%
understand.
as good as cocaine.
This is what I don't understand. If you go to a Civil War reenactment and you go to the Confederate side, how come they get upset when black people show up and want to be their slaves?
Who gets upset?
I watched this thing on the YouTube today, and all the Confederate reenactors were like, "Well, no, we don't want you to do that. We're not trying to reenact that part of the thing." And they were like, "Well, didn't you guys have slaves?" Well, yeah, but that's not what we're reenacting. And I thought, well, these guys are geniuses. They had like chains on, and they threw some cotton on the ground, and they said, "Do you want us to pick this up?" And none of the people would say yes, except one guy said, "Dude, you're littering. I'll write you a ticket for that." And
Well,
so then
nobody
they did
wants
pick
to-
it up, and it was
Nobody-
pretty funny.
Yeah,
was
you don't
like-
want. They're
I was
taking.
like-
They're taking the fun out of the Civil War. Peas.
But it was fun doing it. Like it made me want to be black so that I could go. That could be like my new hobby. Is I would just go to these Civil War. Do they even reenact Civil War stuff anymore? Is that even allowed? Or is everybody? It's like there's this like 40,000 Northern guys reenacting Northern shit, and like 3 diehard Duke brothers fucking pretending to be the Confederacy.
Yeah, but nobody wants to be the slave in the Civil War reenactment because they're the only actors that don't get paid.
I think that would be awesome. I think that would put some realism into it. There's some skin in the game. Whoever wins today gets this group of people.
I'm gonna call black Zionists Hebrews.
You know what, Peas? Maybe you should just make Carrots make you her slave.
.com.
Well,
Like tell her to call you the T phrase.
what's the T phrase?
Toby.
Oh no. You know, I kind of already am her sexual slave in many ways. It really dates you, Fid, Julie, when you make a joke like that. And you, Argus Fox. Because that makes everybody know, oh, that's a Roots reference. That's Alex Haley's miniseries Roots. So these
You
are
know,
the
I don't
four
know why
guys.
they. No, Peas. Here's my big question: why did they call the series Roots when Branches played a far more prominent role?
Nice.
Because you have to live in the victimization of your past. If you don't live in the victimization of your past,
Did we do the show? I'm
You
writing
did
that down, and yeah, okay, that's going in my type 5.
That's definitely going in your type 5.
things to say when you want to get fired.
That could even be an opener. Just
Things
do it
to say
cold.
when you... No, that, you know what? That's thing. File it under things to say when you want to get fired by Disney.
Well, Disney ended up firing themselves, didn't they?
Yeah.
Didn't they just like
Yeah, but
close?
now counterfile it in things to say when interviewing for Fox.
I'm right here.
No,
Why the next?
I meant, maybe that's the problem. Maybe you're too close in your brand. You know, your Fox brand is too close to the Fox brand, and there's consumer confusion. You're actually driving people to Fox News instead of Hypercube.
But once I
That's
start getting
probably-
some cutbacks, I'll be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
but
funnel that down.
I'm wondering if that's what's going on.
That was the sound of beer.
I hope not. I was peeing earlier, but you couldn't hear it because there was some kind of noise reduction. I was disappointed.
Well, Peas, you fell right into my trap. I tricked you into peeing before the show, so you couldn't steal my bit on the show.
It's Dr. Hell! Oh, no!
All right, I'm not liking the fact that the next, 20 lines of the show notes are just additional details
On choo-choo trains.
on choo-choo trains.
Well, should we move on to the next segment? Because we were... Peas, did you derail a segment on choo-choos?
Yep, I did.
Damn.
Okay.
See, that's why
nice.
it's art, fuckers.
It's funny. I get it now. I get it.
I'm layers. Dennis Miller laughed.
Peas, you could derail a steamroller.
All right, well, from now on,
You
every
could pay a
topic has to
prostitute
have
too
to
much
do with
money.
choo-choo trains, so Peas can be funny. Guys,
Hey, oh. Come on, everybody.
Okay. All right,
There's a
Peas.
brand new dance now.
Go right ahead.
Come on, baby. Do the locomotion.
Great.
Now go ahead, Fitz.
I'm really
Well done.
glad that I held the door open for you on that one.
Yeah. Grand Funk Railroad, motherfucker.
I got the joke. I did.
You're just avoiding the elephant in the room. Okay? We just read a story about this increased frequency of derailments and train incidents. And
it's because Peas has ties to the mob in the unions that are cutting the brake lines on these trains. And I think
it's even worse. I hate to say this, guys, but I think this is our fault. We've been doing blind eyes for years, and those dumbasses over at Al Qaeda, they figured, well, we can't hijack a plane anymore because they got the TSA.
Clean.
What's the next best thing that we could hijack and
Gliders.
drive into a building? And they said a train.
super young.
It's big,
Super young.
it's heavy, it goes really
Train.
fast.
They
So,
hired some Irish consultants to tell them how to do it. Oh, I need a train to go through this building, do you? Of course you do, you cockeyed bastards.
I mean, I'm
Taking
just
all of
happy
our
to see
glory
that,
from the great
show
state
is-
of the Republic of Ireland, been repressed and destroyed by the goddamn Queen and her cockeyed son. But yeah, we'll help you drive the train through the buildings, you brown bastards.
when is Irish Ramadan, Peas?
Christmas, you bastard! That's when baby Jesus gives you the finger, lets you vomit outside your mother-in-law's apartment, smoke your father's last fucking fag.
That's when that's when they celebrate the last potato that lasted for 8 nights or something like that.
That's right. And it only lasted that long because it was kept up your mother's ass the entire time. Waiting for Christmas. Oh, we wished we had a potato for Christmas. We had rocks and moss and piss. That's what we had. Potatoes. Fancy Lord with his potatoes and whatnot on Christmas Day.
Well, you're not the only one that's going to have to wait, because line 94 of the show notes is blank. However, line 45 of the show notes says segment 4, paid copy.
Dun, dun, dun. It's my favorite segment.
It's because it's paid for.
It makes the show possible. We have to do it. All right. Are you tired of waiting for your deliveries to arrive? Do you find yourself staring out the window, watching the clock tick by, wondering when your package will finally show up? Well, we have good news for you. Introducing McApathy, the delivery service that never shows up on time. That's right, with McApathy, you never have to worry about waiting around for your deliveries again. Our drivers are specially trained to arrive at your doorstep hours after the promised delivery time, ensuring that you have plenty of time to do, well, whatever it was you were doing before. And if you're worried about missing your delivery, don't be. Our drivers are equipped with state-of-the-art notification technology that will keep you updated on their progress every step of the way. You'll receive a text message when your package is still hours away, another when it's stuck in traffic, and a final message when it's finally delivered. At least we hope so. So why wait for your deliveries to arrive on time when you can experience the thrill of uncertainty with McApathy? Sign up now and get ready for a delivery experience like no other. And line 114 of the show notes is blank, which concludes the paid copy. Thank God. We can finally get back to doing the show now. Ugh, I hate those fucking sponsors.
That's all it shows me, and that's when I expand it. So I can't see for that.
Always making us read shit. They're worse than Joe Rogan. Line 115 of the show notes says, segment 5, host shit. And it says, go around the hosts and see what they were up to since the last show. All right, Peas, who's your host shit?
I went back to work last week, and then I did some stuff and did some work. So I talked with Fox earlier in the week about the Earth falling into the sun, and did he think we could maybe find a way to hypercube to Europa, and he didn't think that there was a way. So that was disappointing. And then I was going to call you, but man, you just going on about your lady friend and the Masons, and I didn't have the energy for it, so I said, fuck that. So for the most part, I just tried to acclimate back into my life. I've been making some different types of foods and stuff to put in my bellies, and that's about it. What have you been doing there, Spearmint Flavored Julie?
I don't remember. Who am I? What's going on?
What are you?
It's funny when he does because what people may not know this, but what Spid Chuli's doing is Spid Chuli is doing a white person's voice as done by a black comedian who actually is being done by a white person. So it's Spid doing a black person doing a white person when he does that voice. And that's why that voice is so hilarious. No matter what it says, when you hear that voice, you know some Spid Spearmint Julie comedy is coming your way right away. I'm going to sit back and listen.
Yeah.
I farted on my girlfriend's pussy.
Intentionally?
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't premeditated. It was more like a crime.
Court ordered.
It was a crime of opportunity. It was not premeditated.
How did you get into that kind of position so quickly?
Uber
pussy? Yeah, I called up Uber pussy. I was like, hey, guys, I got a big one brewing. All right, I'm going to need you to come down here.
Need some help. I'm going to need some equipment. I'm going to need some help.
No, we were like...
Bring towels.
We were asleep and kind of spooning, and I rolled over away from her, and then she did the She was the big spoon, which, I'm not proud of. That's a little emasculating.
Little gay. It's a little gay, if you ask me, but whatever.
But given that position, my anus was pressed up right against her clam. And I just had to let one go. And I went, all right, this is going to be great. I even nudged her a little bit to make sure she was awake first.
Now, it's interesting. The Kama Sutra discusses the stimulation, the vibronic stimulation of the clitoris with the gases from the anus in this exact position at length for 7 or 8 stanzas. So really all you've done, Fid Chili, is rediscover an ancient Indian way to pleasure your woman by using your flatterus of your anus to cause a vibrational explosion within the woman's clitoris, if performed correctly. Now, it's been known to take many years to master this sexual act, and I'm surprised to see that you pulled it off your first time, but hats off to you.
Is it a sexual act?
It's an act of love.
I see. Yeah.
When you fart on your girlfriend's
pussy,
how could
you interpret
love.
it any other way, Dr. Fox, if indeed you are a doctor with that question?
It's kind of like when you pee on her in the shower. Like, it's an act of love. It means...
Wow, this water's sure to get warmer.
Well, that's right. Any of our listeners...
way back here.
Viewers can go to timefortheshow.com and get their copy of the Chuli Sutra. And learn how to fart on your girlfriend's pussy.
Pleasure your woman with the vapors from your anus alone, and you will have mastered life.
The Fid Chuli way.
Are your stoolies like Chulies?
Oh, nice. Your check's in the mail, Fox.
I was a hard-to-please woman until my man put Finger Chuli's flatulous clitoris stimulation manual. And ever since Harvey has taken up the habit, I've been a happy lass, let me tell you.
Who's your host shit, Fox?
Well, I called Peas on Friday, but he didn't answer me, so I got upset and I went to the beach.
Was I there?
No, you didn't answer.
But was I at the beach when you went there?
Yeah, it was Peas' footprints when there was only one set in the sand.
And I said, Peas, where did the other set of footprints go? And he said, well, that was when I was riding on your back because it was hot.
I'm your farted on the clitoris. Gave me pleasures.
Line 117 of the show notes is blank.
The worst.
I love the blank lines. They're the easiest ones. Line 118, segment 6. Influenza.
I'll give you a whole show. I'll give you a whole list of blank lines.
200 lines. Fuck's sake.
That's a lot of lines.
That one was for caller 23. Line 119 of the show notes says, talk about people recently in the spotlight. This week's persons of note to include caller 23 for vomiting right now. And Mary Lori Lightfoot is the current mayor of Chicago, Illinois. Well, not anymore. She was elected as the city's mayor in April 2019, becoming the first black woman and first openly gay person to hold the position. Prior to serving as mayor, Lightfoot held various positions within the city's government and also worked in private legal practice. As mayor, Lightfoot has focused on issues such as public safety, education, and economic development, and has implemented various reforms aimed at improving transparency and accountability in city government.
She's going back to Middle Earth to be Gandalf's horse again.
I had never heard it before, but Twitter had blown up that Beetlejuice had gotten fired, and I didn't know if they were talking about the Michael Keaton character or the Howard Stern character. And I gotta say, when I actually saw a picture of her, I was like, "Wow, that's a eager compromise."
You still didn't know which one they were talking about.
And I've got to tell you, I've never liked any of this guy Gordon Lightfoot's albums anyway.
Yeah, I think Beetlejuice could be the next franchise to get canceled, because he was pretty aggressive on that Winona Ryder girl. You know,
well,
Winona Ryder.
He made racist comments and sexist comments and stuff. That's not allowed.
I believe Winona Ryder was only 16 at the time that they filmed that. So that's not okay. All right. Well, that's person number one, Lori Lightfoot. You know what?
Are you sure that's not Elliot Page you're talking about?
Her name would be La Elliot Page after she gets that surgery to make her black.
Or a dolphin.
All I can say about Lori Lightfoot is, like, look, I don't live in Chicago, whatever. But she does strike me as a woman whose vagina smells like if somebody queefed on a used tire.
Remember when she was all like, "We gotta believe Juicy Smalls. He had to have been attacked." She's the best. I'm glad to see that Chicago got rid of her and kept. You know, there was a choice. They were either going to have to get rid of the shaved beef sandwich or keep her as mayor. And so they wisely went to go with the Portantini's sandwich. It's exciting these days and ages that we live in.
Yeah, and she also publicly threatened to arrest people that did not observe the tuberculosis 19 protocols, even though she got caught going out to get a haircut.
Did you hear about that pro wrestler, the Little Rock or the Proto Rock or Rock Light that did a comedy special?
Yeah,
the Pebble, Chris the Pebble Stone.
Little Rock Light is an American comedian, actor, writer, producer, and director who first gained national recognition in the early 1990s as a cast member on the popular comedy sketch series Saturday Night Live. He went on to become one of the biggest names in stand-up comedy, known for his sharp social commentary and provocative humor. Rock has also appeared in a number of successful films, including Grown Ups, Madagascar, and The Longest Yard, and has received numerous awards for his work, including 4 Emmy Awards and 3 Grammy Awards.
I got to stop you right there. Now, listen, Chris Rock and I first, a lot of people,
a good place to stop it.
A lot of people don't know this, but I'm considered the white Chris Rock. We're born on the same day. We're the exact same age. We're both very, very funny. We both kind of call it like it is. And but here's the thing about Chris Rock is that the movies that are listed here that Joe Rogan listed out, he's done a lot of movies. If somebody was to tally up your career with an extensive as a filmography that Chris Rock has, with Grown Ups, Madagascar, and worst of all, The Longest Yard, to be the
wasn't he in Pootie Tang?
Yeah, I mean, Pootie Tang's a fucking cult classic, dude. Anyway, he was in New Jack City.
That sounds dirty. I don't watch movies like that.
Well, you are a doctor. But anyway, good for Chris. And yeah, people, the one thing I watched the special, I gotta say this one thing, and being a small person myself, you know, being the white Chris Rock, I'm about the same size as the black Chris Rock. But Will Smith is a huge fucking man. Okay? He easily weighs hundreds or at least 100 more pounds than Chris Rock does, and is just towered over him. And it's so easy to slap or humiliate a man physically that's much smaller than you are. And I just never. I thought that I thought his show was funny. Chris's comedies. A lot of people criticized him and said it was he'd become an old man shaking his fist at the sky in relationship to some of the material he chose to use. I kind of get that criticism, except for then the commentator went on to talk about how he described Jada Smith as a bitch 100 times, and that led me to believe that the reviewer, hadn't even seen the show, because he never once said that about Will Smith's wife. He said that about Will Smith, that Will Smith was a bitch. And when you miss a key concept of somebody's performance, and you think they're talking about somebody else saying that word, it really poisons your ability to review the rest of the performance. Because now you're looking at it through the lenses of, oh, he called this woman, and this review was written by a woman, bitch so many times when she missed. No, he didn't. He never said that about her. He said that.
He's
about
saying that
Will
a female
Smith.
journalist misinterpreted some information piece. Is that what you're alluding to?
I am alluding to that. And that's what happened. But I think all in all, Chris Rock is going to remain funny. I think Will Smith has hurt himself, and as Chris Rock stated, and I think that this was probably true. He really admired Will Smith. He rooted for Will Smith. He was, and I know that African Americans, a lot of times, Bill Cosby talks about this, even though it's probably a shame to say it now, but Oprah talks about it a lot, is there is an obligation, because of the systemic racism in our country, there's an obligation for you as an African American, when you're famous, to present your culture and your people, even though we're all Americans, I don't want to get into that, in a positive light. And
yeah, that's the boring stuff. Don't get into that.
And I think that, in all honesty, I think people will like what Chris Rock had to say, but I think some of it was kind of cringy. The end when he says, oh, the reason I didn't do anything about it is because I have parents, and I was taught not to fight in front of white people. And I don't know that many people understand. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I read that as
a black person yourself.
Dude, just as a product of the child of the 60s and 70s, when there was a huge effort in society to mend the civil discord that there was, and it failed miserably, but nonetheless, if that attempt was made, is that, he probably was taught that by his parents, because you didn't want to bring attention to yourself. You didn't want to get viewed as one of the bad ones. And if you fought another black person in front of white people, then they immediately would just, and this is true. I know this is true. They would dismiss you both as, beasts that know nothing better than fighting. And so, being black in America in that period of time, you didn't fight in front of white people. You didn't do anything that was going to bring some kind of scorn down upon you and every other African American male. And while a noble idea presented by many members within their own culture, it's turned out to be a miserable fucking failure, and considered kind of Uncle Tomish, behavior right now. But that was the line that people thought was going to take, and I was surprised that Chris mentioned that. Except for, I know that Chris, like me, is 58 years old. And when we grew up, we were the last generation probably that there was, okay, here's the fucking rules. Here's how it fucking works. And it's the last generation where those rules actually did fucking work. And now everything's fucked up.
This is the best episode of National Cynical Network I've ever heard.
No,
I had no idea that Pease had 20 minutes on Chris Rock. It's fascinating.
I didn't even know he was on Saturday Night Live. I thought that was just Jimmy Fallon.
But my point being is Chris would be offended if these were the 3 references to his fucking bulk of work were those fucking 3
Black
references.
comedian might get offended, Peas. Is that what you're saying?
You're saying as the white Chris Rock, I have a lot of empathy for the black Chris Rock.
What kind of rock are you?
Rock hard, brother.
Fucking, you are so handsome, Peach. So handsome. Line 145 of the show notes is blank, and line 100, 145. Yeah, 100. 46. Wait, not 45. I'm on line 146 of the show notes, which says segment 7 shout outs, and I'm going to let Fox pick it up at line 107.
Thanks. That's my favorite line. We here at TFTS are proud to offer you the most mind-bending, paradigm-shifting, and downright bizarre content you'll find anywhere on the internet. But we can't do it alone. We need your support to keep the madness flowing. That's why we're calling on all of our dedicated listeners to join our Patreon and become part of the Hypercube community. Not only will you get access to exclusive bonus content, behind-the-scenes glimpses, and other perks, you'll also be supporting the continued existence of our show and everything we stand for. Peas is not racist. And if that's not enough, we'll also invite you to join our Discord server and connect with other like-minded individuals who share your passion for the weird and wonderful. We've got channels for discussion, collaboration, gaming, and just about everything else you could imagine. All with a healthy dose of absurdity and non sequiturs, of course. So what are you waiting for? Don't think, just do it. Join our Patreon today and become a part of Hypercube. And remember, when the rest of the world is spinning out of control, there's only one place to turn for your daily dose of insanity. All available at www.timefortheshow.com. These fine people have our gratitude for supporting, including Subject T Change, Bob South, Longdead, Hazel of the Windmills, Caller 23, and Dr. Cosmac. Get your shout out for just $1 at patreon.com/hypercube and on the blockchain at backed.by.hypercube. That's incorrect, but whatever. Next line is blank.
Oh, come on. Put your balls into it.
I left my balls on the dance floor, man.
And now, everybody's favorite part of the show. Line 169, segment 8, Peas apologizes. Yeah, the traditional ending segment where Peas recaps the episode and apologizes for it in his own unique way. Who's your blind eye, Peas?
Here's the thing about the blind eye spin is I gotta apologize because I feel I got cut off a lot tonight and I wasn't given an opportunity to express my thoughts or feelings long enough to really make coherent thoughts and really push home the theories that I try to expound upon the listening audience every week, which is number one. The color of the egg will be dependent on the color of the chicken's feather. Everyone knows that. Aliens don't exist unless they're from Mexico, and then, damn it, you better look out. But other than that, this has been a pretty good show. We wonder why the government hides things from us, and then we realize we don't know where we put things to begin with, so somebody should keep them away from us. I'm going to end this show with this outro, and I want you to listen closely as it goes. As the sun sets on another day, and we bid farewell to the airways fray, we pause to reflect on all we've learned, all the wisdom and humor we've earned. From the depths of our minds we've
slunk to the refrigerator.
The the strange, the unalleged. And we've shared it all with you, our friends, as the show comes to an end. But fear not, for we'll be back with more tales of the bizarre, the abstract, more rants and raves and ridiculousnesses as we explore the human consciousness. So until next time, stay weird and wild. Embrace the madness. Let your mind run wild. And remember, don't think, just be yourselves.
Line 190 of the show notes is blank! And I'm going to let Dr. Fox take line 191 to line 200.
Thanks, Fid, for engineering the show. Thank you, Peas, for not being racist. Special thanks to our broadcasting host at freethinkradio.com. Thanks to Rubik's Cube for our kick-ass theme song. We broadcast live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. If you're listening on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can join our Discord server, Hypercom, and subscribe to Time for the Show's podcast feed at www.timefortheshow.com. And it's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Please leave a review and rating in your preferred app. And also send your comments to email at timefortheshow.com. Don't think! We'll see you next week!
Going out hot on that theme song, fellas.
Get it.
Waka, 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 woo. I think I'm gonna have a bowl of cereal. I didn't care, homie. Hashtag bring back the horn. Alright, my buddies, are we all done having a good time with the show?
When did we start having a good time?
You didn't like that? I thought that was a fun show.
Was it fun?
I did, well, I didn't talk a lot, so I don't know.
Was it good?
I think so.
We now return you to our regularly scheduled freethinkradio.com programming.